Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Way of Wade 8083 Ultra V2. So they made the V2, or the second version of the amazing 8083 Ultra, and the 8083 is an amazing performer, or the Ultra is an amazing performer, and also the regular 8083 is an amazing performer as well. So the regular 8083 retails for 120 bucks, which is an amazing price, especially for the performance, and it is a drop-in midsole, and the 808 shoe line prioritizes, or they all have drop-in midsoles, right? And they're also outdoor focused, but the Ultra is $160, which is pretty dang expensive, but the tech is really good. And then the V2, they didn't raise the price really at all, right? And I love what Chinese brands are doing. They're giving us V2s. I really like V2s because it reminds me a lot of like Elites, Nike Elites. You guys remember Nike Elites? You know, it was like the elite version, but you know, Nike would jack up the price 40 bucks and kind of give us the same tech, you know what I mean? So I wish they would have done Elites, but with the same price. Maybe Nike will bring it back. That would be awesome. But I love what Way of Wade has been doing, right? So the 8082 did the same thing as well with the V2s and stuff like that. Anyways, if you guys do want to cop it, try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. It does help me if you do buy the shoe, if you want to buy the shoe from the actual link. So I do appreciate it if you guys do. But anyways, let's get started right off with the Tracciones, and the traction is freaking top tier. If you're playing on a clean court, you have elite traction. You're gonna be stopping pretty much on a dime, and of course it's going to be exactly the same as the regular 8083 Ultra. And the Ultra is different in the pattern from the actual 8083, but they all have really nice, amazing bites, right? So you're gonna be good to go on a clean court. If you are playing on a dusty court, you're good to go as well. It picks up very minimal dust, but if you are playing on a super dusty court, it will pick up a little bit of dust, of course, like most shoes do. However, it's a very easy wipe, right? And you do easy wipe and you're good to go. But also, it doesn't really pick up dust that quickly, right? And also it bites through dust extremely well. So if you're playing on a dusty court, you have really good performance as well. And if you're playing on an outdoor court, you should be fine, right? They are advertising it as tough rubber, and it is kind of like made for outdoor use, so you should be fine, right? But here in like the middle of the forefoot with this kind of like pattern, you have like thinner grooves, right? The rubber is still kind of hard, but they are kind of thinner. So but I guess you do have more surface area, right? So I guess it's still gonna be good, but I am a little bit worried about this part. But for the most part, with this like wavy herringbone traction pattern, you should be fine for durability on outdoor court. So yeah, just like in the regular 8083 Ultra, this is my DS version. This is my dead stock version. I played in the Oxygen colorway, and the Oxygen colorway also was really nice. But anyways, there is that. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, it looks like the Kobe 9, right? Because we have a high top, right, with this knit, and we have all this plastic, right? And it feels very similar to the Kobe 9 with the heel to toe transition. So here in the heel is pretty dang clunky because there is no actual exposed midsole. It's just plastic, so there's not a whole lot of compression, but it's not super terrible or anything. It's just something that I noticed. But we do have a nice curved shape, which does help make the heel feel a little bit smoother. And then coming here into the forefoot, we have a nice curved shape and a lot. Look at this. It's so flat. Look how easily I flex it, right? But we do also have a little bit of rebound back. It's not super springy, you know what I mean? It's just more of like a really smooth feel, just like the Kobe 9 Elite Highs. Obviously, we have carbon fibre, right? Carbon fiber here for midfoot chain plate, also on the lateral side here for the cage, which is really nice for the quality. You get really nice quality materials, I guess, obviously for the price. But yeah, it's just a very smooth feeling heel to toe transition, but a little bit clunky in the heel. So there's that. Moving on to the cushioning setup, we got full length boom, and it's a full length boom drop-in setup, which I really like, right? And it's literally the exact same as the regular 8083 Ultra. So if you like the cushioning setup in this shoe, then you'll like the cushioning setup in this shoe as well. But yeah, it is full length boom, and especially in the heel, you have a lot of compression. It's super duper soft, especially for stepping comfort too. Underfoot cushioning is great, and also boom is bouncy, so you have a nice little bounce here in the heel. And then in the forefoot, it does get a little bit more stiff because it is thinner. We do have a little bit of an offset, but it's more of like a flat offset, right? It feels a little bit flatter to me. But yeah, as far as the impact protection goes, impact protection overall is really good. However, if you are doing really hard like heel strikes or really hard impacts, then you're gonna feel your foot bottom out the cushion a little bit because Boom is really soft, right? So just be careful on hard impacts. Like, it's not terrible for me. It doesn't hurt my feet like crazy, but I definitely felt like it wasn't the best for like really hard impact, right? But if you're just kind of like, you know, like running around, doing step backs, you're doing like easy jumpers, you should be fine. Just be careful if you want really good impact protection, right? But overall, step and comfort's great. Court feel is really, really good. And overall impact protection is good, like overall impacts, regular jumping and stuff like that. So overall, it's a really nice cushioning setup, which I do like. And I feel like a lot of people will enjoy it as well, especially if you're a guard, right? But again, like I said, just be careful with the hard impact. So there's the cushioning setup there. Of course, like I said, exactly the same as a regular 808 Ultra. And now moving on to the upper is where they really changed it up, right? So in the V2, we have a really nice material. So this is kind of like knit material, and it's really thin, right? It's a really thin material, but also super supportive, right? Doesn't stretch really at all, conforms to your foot extremely well. There's no pinching, it's comfortable here in the toe box. Also, we have this like synthetic leather kind of overlay, you know? It's a synthetic material that goes all the way around the toe box. If you do toe drags, you're covered. You're gonna have good durability and support right here, which is great, you know? And also underlaying that, we have like a mesh material, right? Another mesh material. It looks like a jersey type of mesh, you know? But it doesn't really add too much bulk, right? You can see it through these kind of like hexagon shapes. But here in the regular 808 Ultra, it's just it is thinner, of course. It's a thinner material, definitely. And I'd say it's like pretty much just as supportive. It doesn't really stretch all too much, but it's just not as good for quality, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, it is this mesh material and you do have better airflow through this. However, you still have good airflow through this, you know. The 808 Ultra, the regular one, is a little bit better for ventilation, but it's still good here in the V2. And just like durability wise, just like in the 808 I feel like this mesh material, because it is so thin, and with this, like, it does have like a thin layer of fuse over it, but it just doesn't feel like it'll last as long as the V2, right? And also we do have a thin layer of fuse going around the toe box as well, but this will be a lot better for durability, right, in the V2. So there's the upper material, and also we do have some kind of Flywire. Yes, Flywire is Nike, but I don't know, I feel like everyone just calls it Flywire, right? So that'll be good for a little bit more support here on the lateral side. It's both on the lateral and medial side of the shoe. Of course, we have this external heel counter, right? It's just this plastic piece that goes all the way around. Like, it comes from here, right? It goes all the way around the heel, which is pretty crazy. And of course, we do have a tongue, right? But this tongue is kind of like attached to the top of the shoe, right? With this knit material. It's just stretchy, nice stretchy material, which does feel nice. And also we have this really nice knit collar. It's also stretchy. It reminds me a lot of the Kobe 9. The Kobe 9 is a lot higher. This is a little bit lower, but it does feel really nice, especially for lockdown, right? And we'll get into like how it feels, like ankle support and stuff like that. But overall, this knit material, the quality is great. And of course, also we have this window which exposes drop-in, which is pretty cool, just like in the regular 808 Ultra. But in my opinion, I feel like the V2 has better quality materials, and it feels a little bit better on foot because of this stretchier type of knit, especially here around the ankle and also like on top of your midfoot right here, right? As opposed to like if you want like a low top, you know, this is a little bit better. But as far as the padding here in the ankle, there is just kind of like the same amount of padding as well. So yeah, the V2 is better overall on how it feels on foot for the quality, and it's the same exact price. So there is the upper there. Moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size, and it does run a little bit long, but that doesn't really bother me as much because of how good the lockdown is, which we'll get into. But yeah, because the lockdown is so good, my foot just never really moves inside of the shoe, right? So because of that, I didn't really mind the longer length. And also it's not super roomy, but there is a little bit of dead space here because I did go up half a size. So for most people, I would just suggest going true to size. If you want a nice snug fit, go true to size. If you want to be a little bit more careful and you don't think you'd mind the extra length and also kind of like roominess here in the toe box, like for me, then you should go up half a size. Also width wise, I would say it's around normal width, maybe a touch wide. But like I said, I didn't mind that because of how good the lockdown is. So there is the fit there. Moving on to the support and lockdown. So for lateral containment, you should be good to go. I had zero issues, right? So first of all, in the drop-in, you do have a raised sidewall, right? So because of that, your foot is is like hitting that sidewall of the drop-in. And also we have all this in the upper, so you're double covered, you know what I mean? So we have we have this plastic coming in, we have the synthetic material here in the forefoot as well, and then here in the heel we have this plastic cage and also carbon fiber. So you're gonna be good to go. Your foot is not coming out of the foot pad. And with the drop-in midsole, another thing that I really love about this drop-in midsole is the texture of the drop-in, right? So with this Boom, so first of all, Boom is kind of slippery, right? It has a little bit of a texture to it, which does feel a little slippery, but as far as the actual texture goes, they improve the texture of the drop-in midsole, right? So if you look at the 808 2 Ultra, it has kind of like a felt material over it, kind of like an insole, which they had to glue on, which I didn't like. But here in the 808 3 Ultra, they did not do that. They just gave you really fine lines, right? And those fine lines, that texture on the actual, like on top of the drop-in, it grabs your sock. It's really, really nice for lockdown. And like I said, your foot does not move inside of the shoe. So lockdown is really, really good. And that's why I didn't really mind the extra weight. But just keep in mind, it is annoying to put this shoe on sometimes, right? When you're putting on the shoe, it does scrunch up a little bit underneath your foot, you know, so you kind of have to like really tighten this sock, you know, really put it on kind of, but you do get used to it, and it does get a little bit easier over time. But yeah, lockdown is really, really good. Also, heel lockdown is extremely good as well because of this knit collar. Like you have extra support and lockdown from the ankle, and also we have kind of like a cupping of the foam here for the actual like heel area. So the heel lockdown is really, really good. So overall lockdown, overall support is really good. Lateral stability is amazing as well. We have a very nice outrigger here. It does protrude out here in the forefoot. For me though, ankle support is not great. I mean, you do have this knit collar, but you know, it is a thin material. It does allow for a good amount of ankle mobility. So if you're looking for really good ankle support and you want to restrict your ankle movement a lot going this way, it's not going to help that much, right? It felt pretty much like a load to me. So there is that. Moving on to the weight of the shoe, so it is a little bit on the heavier side of things, right? If I remember correctly, yeah, it's 13.5 ounces. Comparing it to the regular version, it's 13.45 ounces, so it's pretty much the same exact weight. So having this didn't really add that much weight, which of course is a good thing, you know what I mean? And you do get better quality materials. It does feel a little bit thicker. I'm pretty surprised at how it is the exact same weight. So the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So 13.5 ounces is on the heavier side of things, but it's not super heavy. Also, it's not bulky at all. You know what I mean? Nothing's really protruding out like crazy. Nothing's bulging out, especially from the midsole. You know, it's just flush, you know, it's just streamlined to your foot. And also traction is amazing. Court feels really good. It's a responsive cushioning setup. Lockdown's amazing. So when I was playing in the shoe, I felt extremely quick, and this shoe feels extremely responsive, just like in the regular 808 3 Ultra, right? And now moving on to the aesthetics, I love it. This is one of the best looking hoop shoes for me right now, right? This shoe looks absolutely amazing. The AE1 looks absolutely amazing. One other shoe though I think looks really good. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I'd say those are my top right now. Maybe the GT Cut Academy, that's just a super simple, great looking shoe. So yeah, this shoe looks amazing. It reminds you a lot of the Kobe 9 as well, especially with this high top design. And the regular version looks amazing too. There's some amazing colorways, right? This Volt colorway looks great. There's also a lavender colorway of the 808 3 Ultra V2, which just came out. It looks amazing as well. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, this is an amazing performer, elite performance. If you want a drop-in midsole, right, and a shoe that feels extremely similar to like Kobe's, like old school Kobe's, like the Kobe 9 Elite High, then you will love the 808 3 Ultra V2. And for 160 bucks, that's still pretty nice. You know what I mean? There are some shoes, especially from Nike. Like I just bought the Kobe 8 Prochers for like 190 bucks. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's really, really expensive. LeBrons are 200 bucks, you know? So I feel like 160 bucks is not, it's still kind of expensive, but you do get really good tech, right? And you do get really good performance. So this is an amazing option. If you're a guard, I feel like you're gonna love this shoe. Also, if you're a bigger dude, you should be fine. Support is amazing. Cushion overall, like I said, is great. Besides on hard impacts, traction's good. So I feel like most positions will enjoy playing this shoe as I have. It's just a great overall all-around shoe as well. So yeah, the 808 3 Ultra V2, they just hit it out the ballpark. This is an elite performer, and I like it even a little bit better than the regular version because it's the same weight. The upper feels a little bit better for quality, feels a little bit better on foot, and I do love the knit, right? But anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the Way of Wade 808 3 Ultra V2. Super long name. Again, if you guys do want to call, I try to leave the link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.